Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters. It's good news, and we have got a whole bunch to cover. So I'm not going to stand on ceremony, Mr. Wayne. I'm going to dive right in. First of all, with a huge thank you to friend of the show, James, who sent me this incredible custom Mephisto head and hands as well. Man, this is incredible. I said incredible before, but there's not really a better word to use. I love how you've done this and the body that this is on. Can you guys tell me? A no prize to whoever shouts it out first? Yes, of course, to you in the back there. It's Sabak from the McFarlane Black Adam line. Fits perfectly, because also Mephisto, of course, can be huge if he wants to be. He's the Lord of the Underworld. He can appear however he likes. So to have this guy towering over your Marvel Legends, or even recreating everyone's favorite Spider-Man story, One More Day and whatever it was called. One More Day? Out of Time? You know what I'm talking about. The awfulness that we don't talk about. But this is far from awful. Dude, thank you so much. The reason I knew that intentions were pure was because he didn't even ask for a shout out or anything. He was just like, hey man, I like the channel. Do you want a Mephisto head? You bet your ass I do. But if you want to get yourself a head and hands as well, then you can go and follow him on his Insta and Etsy. I'm putting the information down here, or at least hopefully I will remember to. No, well, of course I will. When I'm editing this video, I'll see myself telling me to do it. Dave, don't forget to put the information down below, you dum-dum. But thank you so much, man. The detail on this head is incredible. The intricate little work on the teeth, the lines, the eyes, just, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, dude, this is amazing. Because of course we didn't get Mephisto with the HasLab, so sometimes you just gotta Thanos this thing and go, fine, I'll do it myself. And of course by that I mean I'll get someone else to do it, because I couldn't do that. I tried putting these hands on and ended up with a nice little cut on my finger because these nails are so sharp. That's how good this is. It's dangerous how good this figure is. So James, thank you so much, man. If you want to get these, go follow his socials. I'm sure you can pick up a Sabak figure pretty darn cheap now, because I don't think they were flying off the shelves. So hopefully you can get one for not too much money, whack a Mephisto head and hands on there, and boom, you can complete your Marvel Underworld collection. Dude, thank you so much. This is absolutely awesome. I love it. You know what? I'm going to pause this video while I put these both up on display. Okay, they're up there where they belong. Let's carry on with the show because we've got so much to talk about. It's actually a little bit daunting. I have to psych myself up to do these. It's ridiculous. First up, Hasbro are giving us a whole bunch of Indiana Jones figures and merchandise. So I'm going to try and one-take Jake this. So let's see how many flubs and mistakes I make. First of all, to the regular 6-inch Indiana Jones line, we're getting Kazim and we're getting the map room Indiana Jones. Now, the Kazim one I'm particularly happy to see because that character is such an unsung badass of the Indiana Jones saga. From The Last Crusade, he's one of the people who was in charge of protecting the Grail. And like, if you ever want a badass baller line, it's when Indiana Jones has him by the lapels and they're both about to get crunched up by this ship propeller, and Jones is like, do you want to die? And what's his response? My soul is ready, Dr. Jones. How is yours? Like, that's when you're like, okay, checkmate. All right, let's get out of this life and death situation and just talk this thing through. He's like, yeah, that's what I expected. So yeah, he's a cool character and he gets a good looking figure as well. And then you got Indiana Jones from the map room too, which again, with all his accoutrements, all the robes and the shawls and the staff, all that kind of stuff, looks decent, looks good. I'm not collecting these Indiana Jones figures, but I can appreciate the work that goes into them, and I gotta say, these look nice. Then also for the Indiana Jones retro collection, we got the Kenner-style carded figures. And this is a big old callback to the 80s. These were acceptable in the 80s. And now in a kitsch camp, nostalgic kind of way, they're acceptable in the 2020s as well. I was about to think, like, what decade are we in now? Yes, we're in the 2020s. Have been for a couple of years now. And they look fun in your kind of classic old school. I'm pointing at my card backs here, which I never thought I would have, but I guess now I'm a 3 3/4 inch pervert as well, because I've got these as gifts, and you know what? I kind of bloody love them. So if you're an Indiana Jones fan, and especially harkening back to the original releases of the 80s, which I'm old enough to remember, I went to the cinema to go and see Last Crusade in 1989, I think it must have been. And yeah, that was a good time. So I can see the appeal of these. They look kind of fun. Short Round, Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones, which they still need to do in the 6-inch line. And of course, Classic Indie as well. They look like a lot of fun. Now over to Mafex, and this is a huge one for me. I'm so... the T800 endoskeleton. This looks amazing. Absolutely. You know what? I held back from getting the actual Aaaaand-looking Terminators because I'm like, I don't know, there's a kind of an uncanny valley thing. I couldn't buy into them. That was the same reason that I sold my NECA Terminators, even though that's one of my favorite movie franchises of all time. A lot of you longtime viewers know why. But I thought, if they did an exoskeleton, oh look, endoskeleton. That's what it is. Endo's on the inside, exo's on the outside. I think that's what it is. That's how it works, isn't it? I would probably pick it up, and they have, and I think I might do, because this just looks beautiful. We've had skeletons in the past like this, but because understandably they're made of cheaper material, if it was McFarlane back in the day or NECA, they don't have the kind of standout details because it feels like the plastic all kind of smooges the details together, which is fine because you were paying like $20 for those back in the day. But now you're going to be paying a little bit more. You're going to be paying $139. I had to glance down there to check, but you know what? I think it might be worth it. When you look at all those little intricate moving parts, how it all fits together, it just, chef's kiss. So I think I might have to pick that up, and you know, I'm gonna be in Japan when it releases, so I might even get a good deal, be able to literally buy it in store as opposed to going to an import website. So that's kind of nice. So that really gets me kind of hype. But that's not all with Mafex. They were like, oh yeah, by the way, we're also doing a Dark Knight Returns Batman and Horse package together. And again, this looks really great too. They've done this Batman Dark Knight before, but now you're getting the McFarlane style horse to go with it, and yeah, it looks like a beautiful set put together. This one is 160, look into my notes, 164.99. So we're talking expensive figures, but you get your money's worth. I mean, I think the way that they've recreated the Frank Miller looking, grizzled Clint Eastwood, but jacked up Clint Eastwood looking Bruce Wayne, it's phenomenal. And the details on the horse look super pretty as well. So Mafex, y'all impressed me today. I think those are some really great reveals, and they're going to be out February next year, but pre-orders are live now, so you can go and put your money down and start playing the waiting game. Going on from there, we have a new line from Mezco. I told you I was going to try and do a one-take Jake. No breaks going on here. We're going to do a Mezco line called Kaiju Collective. And now this looks like a lot of fun. So this is 8-inch scale, because they're doing a massive Godzilla that's like $400. This ain't the same thing. This is an 8-inch scale Godzilla, black and white style. So like it's literally been ripped out of the Toho original. And I like what they're doing here. It's not something I would get, but it's one of those things that I can absolutely look at and just go, golly, that looks pretty. I really love how it's all looking like it's been put together. Seamless, apparently. So fully recreating that man in suit look. It's listed as being seamless with kind of a skeleton inside that holds it all together and allows you to pose it. And I think this could be the start of a very, very cool wave. Even though I wouldn't want the retro black and white one, if they did a more modern Godzilla, then I think I might be looking into it. Because I got to admit, I was a little bit tempted. I was a little bit tempted by the gigantic Godzilla, but then my brain was like, no, Dave, just put the credit card away. You don't need that. But if they're doing this smaller line, I could be swayed. So this is going to be $140, and it's looking to ship later this year, apparently. 8 inches tall, 12 inches from tip to the end of the tail. Looks like a lovely set. I'm going to watch this line very closely. As I mentioned in a previous video, Hasbro have revealed their full Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 lineup. So I'm not going to repeat myself here, except for the fact that I didn't mention that Groot is a separate deluxe figure. There was some confusion from me there because I made the video and then I was like, oh wait, I forgot Groot. He wasn't listed on the website I was looking at. And then that was because he's a separate entity. So Groot is going to be a deluxe figure at $38.99. And he's got the wings on the back, and he's got some heft and chunk to him, and a little pet raccoon as well. Or is that Rocket? I don't know. Or a descendant? Or I have no idea. I'm looking forward to the movie. I don't want it to be spoiled. And the action figures haven't spoiled too much. I mean, besides like a few cosmetic changes and whatnot. So yeah, the set looks nice, but a bit of a mixed bag with some pins and whatnot. But hey, if you want my full rant and rave and take on those figures, you can go back a couple of videos and take a look. Now then, McFarlane. These guys, you know what? I think they're starting to get it. And I'm becoming more and more impressed with what they're doing. With their Teen Titans line, they've rounded out the roster that they're going to release. So we've got Raven as well. And I got to say, I think she looks like she might be the standout figure of this line, because just from what we can see, only from, of course, the promotional picture, which is always going to have it looking as zhuzhed up as possible, but it does look like the details, the sculpting, like that looks very, very cool. Just as a standalone figure, looks real nice. And then we got Nightwing. I'm not too keen on. There's still a few things that I'd love to see McFarlane iron out, and the main one of those is the rubber underpants. It looks bad. And look, I rag on Hasbro for different design things, and I'll rag on McFarlane for other different design things. And the plastic underpants have the guts to go. Because they really spoil what would otherwise be a nice looking figure. But still, besides that, I think Nightwing looks decent. And then you buy them all together, you're going to get to make Beast Boy. And Beast Boy, the clue is in the name, man. This guy looks like a beast. I'm impressed. You've done good. You've done real good with this, and I like what I see. And I was kind of a fan of the original Teen Titans cartoon from several years ago, and then they updated to Teen Titans Go? I think that was it. Either way, that was really fun, and that got me familiar with those characters. So yeah, I think they've done an excellent job with these. And again, McFarlane showing how it's done. One wave, all the same types of characters, and a Build-A-Figure to match. That's what we want. That's what we got. That's how you show Hasbro how it's done. Hasbro, try and keep up. I know that I'm saying that, and the Guardians wave actually was that, although with a tiny Build-A-Figure. What they could have done so easily was just packet Rocket Raccoon and Cosmo together, and then made Groot the Build-A-Figure. But hey, that's a rant for another time. Still, this wave, this Teen Titans wave, that looks excellent. Not to be outdone though, Super 7 have shown their new Thundercats wave. I'm going to have to read off these names because my Thundercats knowledge pretty much only extends to the core team, and they're getting out there now. They're really going into the weeds. So let me read off the different names here. We've got a Wily Kit. I'm familiar with Wily Kit. Then we've got Aluro. Then also there's Captain Shina. Not Shiner. Shh, do you want to get sued? And then finally we have Hachiman. And these look, again, like they're what you would expect from Super 7. At least what I would expect from Super 7, which is really, really great cartoon likenesses. I don't even recognize 3 of these 4 from the cartoons, but they look like they've come straight out of an 80s cartoon. So if you're building up and rounding out your Thundercats collection, these are going to make some excellent looking additions. Going to be priced $55, as is standard for your Super 7 Thundercats, and going to be available around about winter this year. So yeah, look out for those. Four Horsemen Studios are also putting out a whole bunch of stuff, part of their retailer appreciation re-releases and lines. So again, let me do a little bit of reading off my notes here. We're getting Four Horsemen Lige, I don't know, of the Elven Elite Guard. This is a retailer's appreciation wave action figure. So, I mean, hey, it looks really pretty. That's all I can tell you. You hardcore, Four Horsemen collectors, you know of where you speak. You don't need me to tell you whether or not you want it. I'm going to just show you the pretty pictures. And also, this is going to be $49.99, which I think is kind of like standard for a Four Horsemen kind of figure. And that's going to be available for pre-order from, when? Oh, from next week. There you go. Available for pre-order as of next week. But that's not all. There's also a blue Hagnon figure as well, which that is also being released as part of this retailer thingamabob. Wow, Dave, You're really killing it with your research today, aren't you? Let me just pat myself on the back here. I'll try not to strain myself while doing that. So yeah, look, I'm not always up on the Mythic Legions processes of releases and whatnot, but it's fun to show the pictures, especially when they look this pretty. Speaking of pretty looking Mythic Legions characters, they are re-releasing their Father Christmas, their Santa Claus, but again, they've zhuzhed him up as well, just like they did with the Headless Horseman. They're not just straight up re-releasing him, he's got a whole new paint job. And I dig it. It's the classic green Father Christmas because, of course, that is the classic color of Santa Claus. Did you know, and I'm sure many of you did, that we can thank Coca-Cola for Santa being red and white? That was all part of the marketing campaign. They basically dictated how Santa Claus looked, and it all caught on. But originally, in folktales and whatnot, he was green. This looks a lot more like classic Santa Claus. And now we've got the Coca-Cola Santa Claus, which, you know, we all know and love. And hey, look, I'm a red and white Santa kind of guy. That's what I was born and raised on. But it's nice to have the green option. So if you wanted them side by side, or if you don't have a Santa, I highly recommend him because he was one of my figures of the year last year. And I wouldn't get this one because you don't need two Santas. It's not the Clone Saga, but still, he looks really pretty. Speaking of looking really pretty, Hot Toys are doing a Daredevil from She-Hulk figure. $270 he's going to cost, and he's going to be available in the third quarter of next year. I normally finish the segments with the pricing info and stuff, but I just had it right in front of me. Wanted to get it out there for you. She-Hulk, yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag of a show. Some people enjoyed it, some people didn't, but everyone had opinions on it. But one thing I think we could pretty much unanimously agree on is that it was kind of cool to see Daredevil in the ketchup and mustard costume. I think they did a good job of translating that onto the screen. And I liked a more swashbuckling, upbeat kind of Daredevil, because I got to admit, I loved aspects of the Netflix Daredevil show, but man, it was a slog to get through sometimes. Like, it was just miserable all the time. So to see a bit more of an upbeat Matt Murdock was a lot of fun. I mean, especially I feel so sorry for the poor actress who played Karen Page, because it's like her direction in every scene was, okay, act like you're just about to have a mental breakdown and burst into tears. And she's like, okay, same as always then, yeah? So seeing Daredevil in that fun She-Hulk context, I enjoyed that. And the Hot Toy figure, you know Hot Toys, absolutely beautiful, the work that goes into them, and it should be for the price tag attached. But yeah, look out for this guy, because if you want your red and yellow Daredevil, there you go. Now we just need to get that in Marvel Legends form. That would be fun to see. For you old school 80s cartoon aficionados, or is it 90s? Regardless, Biker Mice from Mars. Yep, it was early 90s, I think. Everyone was doing the anthropomorphic animal team thing. that's what they were doing. So we had Biker Mice from Mars, and of course there was, you know, Street Sharks and Battle Toads and everything, dinosaur whatnots. So Biker Mice from Mars, they carved out their own little mouse-shaped piece of the pie, and there is a nostalgic point there that people do like. I think I was getting a little bit too old for that kind of thing in the early 90s, but there's enough of a demand there to warrant some action figures. So we've had a preview from the Nacelle company, and it's just that, like, that's all we've seen so far. But they also make the Sectors line as well. Again, another 80s revival. So if they're following a similar kind of pricing pattern and structure, then chances are these figures are going to be about 7 inches tall, and they're going to go for about $40 each. So yeah, let me know in the comments what your like premiere anthropomorphic animal super team was. Samurai Pizza Cats. Man, that was one that just sprang into my brain there. There's so many out there, but yeah, what was your favorite? Over in Transformers news from Hasbro, man, I told you there's a lot of stuff here today. This video is going to take a long time to edit. First of all, they revealed a couple of their 86 movie figures. I hate stumbling over words like that, but I'm not going to edit this because I got to do a one-take, Jake, otherwise we're going to be here all day. First of all, we've got Snarl. So another Dinobot. That's always nice to see. It always bugged me as a kid that the Dinobots weren't combiners. It's like, of all the teams of robots, you would have thought that's an easy sell right there. But hey, the road not taken. At least we had Predaking. That was always my dream match. Predaking versus the Dinobots combiner, but they refused to combine. So yeah, you can get yourself Snarl. And also from the Transformers 86 movie, we got Ironhide. And yeah, the likenesses, they're great. I often complain about Transformers that, they got to compromise one form so that they can transform into the other, but Aaaaand, like, pretty much nails it. I see him, and I can just hear, every time I look into a monitor, my circuits sizzle. When are we gonna bust some Decepticons? That's my Aaaaand right there. But yeah, I think he looks really, really cool. But those two, that's one thing. But then we got one that actually like really caught my attention. The Shattered Glass Grimlock. I love this concept. Shattered Glass, the alternate dimension where the good guys are the bad guys and the bad guys are the good guys. And now we've got evil Grimlock, who I at first glance I thought was a Trypticon variant, because the color scheme looks very Trypticon. But no, this is evil Decepticon Grimlock. And yeah, I love what's going on with that. I think that's just a cool looking action figure. If I was, again, still like collecting and building out the collection, I think that black and purple T-Rex would look real good with Megatron over there. But who knows? Maybe I might randomly find him one day and just pick him up on a whim. But in the meantime, that was a little surprise from out of nowhere, like an RKO. This figure dropped and I was like, shoot, I really like the look of that. Furay Toys have been posting on their social media asking for suggestions and ideas for future releases, and in doing so, they've been showing some what look like Christmas-themed monsters. I'm trying to find out some more information as to what these are all about, if it's a new line, if these are prototypes, if these are just about to be released. I don't know. I'm looking into it, okay? And hopefully there are other people who know more that could maybe message me. There's some people out there, some top men who might be on it, who could just feed me a bit more info, because I want to know what's going on, hey? Are Furay doing a bunch of weird McFarlane twisted Christmas-style action figures? Because that could be pretty awesome. Looking at these look gnarly and freaky and gross and very, very cool. So I'm going to keep a little eye on those. And wrapping up the Hasbro news, Marvel Legends team have announced that March 1st at 11 a.m. they are going to have a Marvel Legends live stream. I was trying to think of what words I was trying to get out my mouth hole there, and it was all getting a bit congested. Marvel Legends live stream on March 1st, which is kind of annoying because I know for a fact I'm going to be out in London when it's happening. And that's the kind of video that, you want to be hot off the press to do. So you might get me doing a live reactions update video from a pub in London somewhere, which could actually be a lot of fun as long as I can get good enough Wi-Fi to upload it. So they say that there's going to be a whole bunch of announcements and reveals. Hopefully there's going to be some good stuff. I've got no idea what's going to be included, so it's an exciting mystery for me as well. Very much looking forward to what might be on the agenda for that. And finally, okay guys, do you want to see something weird? Okay, come over here. I gotta show you this, okay? Brace yourself. Here you go. This is the Lucifer 1/6 scale Adorn Horn Centaur. And sometimes you just find interesting things on the internet, and I'm like, wow, there's something for everyone out there. I ain't gonna kink shame no one, but like I'm okay, like Centaur is a kind of a mythical creature. We know what they're sort of all about, but a Centaur with female human body and legs, like, no, that's that's just wrong. There's a trend going around the internet, isn't there? Like, people name their icks. Like, what is it that icks you out? Makes you go, whoa. An entirely human centaur with woman's legs and body, that's an ick. I don't know. It doesn't look sexy. I think they're going for sexy, but it just looks like some Island of Dr. Moreau weird telepod mutation, some horrible abomination of science. It's so bizarre. I kind of dig it. I mean, not in a... Please, some people who watch this show are incredibly generous. Don't buy this for me. I don't want it, but I wanted to share you the pictures. And these are just the pictures that I feel comfortable sharing, because I'm not going to lie, I think this thing is anatomically correct, which actually opens up more questions like, how does that work? Are you doubling up on... No, forget it. So I just wanted to share this with you because I thought it was so funny. $400! But actually, like, having said that, I can see where the money's going. Like, the actual craftsmanship of this thing, it looks amazing. Like, the intricate work that's gone into it. They're even talking about, like, how they've intricately, like plugged the hair in. Dude, I could go for some hair plugs. I'd pay $400 just to have that done to myself. So, yeah, there you go, guys. If you've literally got everything, there's something you don't have yet. Whew. Okay, that does it for action figure news, but there's still a whole lot more stuff to cover. TV and film. First of all, kind of an interesting little thing. Dana Carvey, probably better known as Garth from Wayne's World, posted a picture on his Instagram of him and Mike Myers in their Wayne's World gear, in their clothes and clobber, in the classic basement in Illinois, and it's like, y'all didn't do that for no reason. And so are they hinting that we're going to get a Wayne's World 3? Because if they are, oh my goodness, I'm going to be there for it. I love the first Wayne's World movies and, well, the first two Wayne's World movies. They're both good. And that's just like such a wonderful, nostalgic, just bit of fun. So if they're going to do a third one, I'm here for it. You know, they did it recently with Bill and Ted. Like, hey, look, whether the new movie is good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't take away from the originals, but it can be a fun nostalgia trip. So if this little sneaky Instagram picture is a hint that we might be getting a Wayne's World 3, I'm all for it. And one sequel that is definitely going to happen is a new Japanese Godzilla movie. Toho announced that on November 3rd of this year, they'll be releasing their newest Godzilla movie. And this gets me real excited. I love my classic Godzilla. The last one that they released was Shin Godzilla in 2016. And that is like, it's a great movie. It's not just a goofy man in a monster suit film. It's like, if the subtext and the message and the storytelling, it's pretty powerful. Like, it really is. It's an analogy for the Japanese government and how they respond to disasters. This is like coming off the wake of Fukushima and all the various national crises that the country had to deal with. And it's kind of personified in the form of Godzilla. It's so good. So if this new one lives up to that level of kind of auteur type filmmaking, bring on November 3rd and just put that Godzilla goodness into my veins. Cannot wait for that. Comic news now, and Marvel have got a couple of big events occurring. So this year, this summer, they've been hyping up the Summer of Symbiotes. So there's going to be a big old symbiote story. However, that's not all. We're also getting the Contest of Chaos. And this is going to be another big summer blockbuster epic type storyline that's going to run in sort of, you know, alongside Summer of Symbiotes. It's going to be a lot of crossovers, basically. And look, your mileage is going to vary depending on how much you enjoy these mega events. Some of them hit, some of them don't. It can be a bit of a mixed bag, but I'm interested to see where they go. We literally know nothing more about Contest of Chaos besides the fact that they're kind of hyping. Let me get a little quote here. Yeah, so Marvel's editor-in-chief, C.B. Cebulski. What does that remind me of? Grabowski. That's a character from The Simpsons. Anyway, he said, an upcoming Marvel Comics saga that challenges your favorite heroes to embrace their inner chaos. So, make of that what you will. It looks like everyone's fighting everyone. It could be a lot of fun. But that's not all for Marvel in the summer. Like, they're going a little crazy. We're also going to get the Ultimate Invasion. So this is the Ultimate Universe, the classic old Ultimate Universe, where we originally got the Sam Jackson, Nick Fury. That's going to be invading the 616. I guess, again, no further information, just some pictures and some preview panels. I don't know what the deal is here, because help me out, but didn't the Ultimate Universe get destroyed with the Incursions and Secret War back in 2015? I thought that was a thing. I thought Miles Morales... Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? Miles Morales was the last survivor of that world, and the Molecule Man, as a thank you for him giving him a cheeseburger, blipped him into the 616 and recreated his family. Like, that's what happened, right? So, I don't know what this Ultimate Universe is, unless I'm way off, which, you know, I could be. Dave being wrong on this channel? I know, it happened once, but no one was around. But maybe this might be the second time. Still, I'm going to be interested to see where they go, but, you know, for now, the jury's out. And finally for comics, if you want a little bit of late 90s nostalgia, and who doesn't? I mean, late 90s, The Matrix got it right. That really was the pinnacle of civilization, I swear. So if you do, get to the point, Dave, and don't spit on yourself when you're doing it. Mark Silverstreet, the creator of Witchblade, is doing a Kickstarter for a new Witchblade series, which is, it's good to go, but, go check it out. You can still get on board. And he released a newly redesigned Witchblade, a Witchblade for 2023, which, looks very pretty. His artwork is still holding up. He's doing his thing and he's doing it well. Gotta say, not quite as cheesecake as the original Witchblade was. Being a hormonal teenager in the mid to late 90s, Witchblade I'd see on the shelves and just be like, boobs. And look, that was a whole big selling point of it. It was just, how much can we expose of our lead buxom character on the cover of the comic book and still get it put on shelves? And God bless them, they did a good job with that. But now, we're upgrading Witchblade for 2023, and it looks like there's a little bit more elegance going on with the design, and I kind of dig it. Then again, I also dig, shameless gratuitous cheesecake as well. So as long as I can have my cheesecake and eat it too, I'm perfectly happy. Over in wrestling, it's been a busy week. Okay, first of all, New Japan Pro Wrestling had their Battle in the Valley event, and of course the big story for this was Mercedes-Monet had her first match, or Mercedes Money, however you want to pronounce it, but the former Sasha Banks from WWE was back in a wrestling ring challenging Kairi for the IWGP Women's Championship, and dang it if she didn't beat her for it and become the second ever IWGP Women's Champion in what was an excellent match. One thing that Mercedes kind of has a bit of a problem with sometimes, I feel, is that she's a little bit too ambitious for what she's actually able to do. So she has grand visions, but sometimes it's not always able to execute them in the match. However, this time, boom, no problem. Put on a really, really great match. Looked the business. She was wearing a tribute outfit to Hana Kimura, who very tragically took her own life. Was it last year? It might have been the year before. Time's a funny old thing, but paying tribute to her was a really beautiful thing to do, because apparently Mercedes was one of Hana Kimura's favorite wrestlers. So that was such a nice little touch, and I loved that. And yeah, the match was great. She looked phenomenal. Kairi, the defending champion, she was fantastic as well. That was a really, really great event and a great moment. Over in video game news now, a fun little kind of aside sort of silly thing. Mighty Doom, which is going to be a app type game. So I think just one of those mobile app type games. But it is a cartoony, chibi style top-down Doom shooter. Now, my worry with this is that it's going to be one of those, pay to win type games, which is a pretty seedy thing. But that's not always the case. Sometimes these app games and these mobile games are actually, they're kind of decent. I mean, if it's one of those games you can just pay a one-off fee and boom, you've got a decent game on your mobile, I'd be down for that. If it's one of those pay-to-win transaction things, then no. I was trying to think of the word. Freemium. That's it. Download for free, then pay the premium price. If it's that, maybe don't play that. However, if I can just have a fun run-and-gun, top-down, cartoony, Doom-style shooter, yeah, I would be quite happy to give that a go. That might be one for the long train commutes. And yeah, we'll see what I make of that if I get it. Didn't know how I was going to end that segment, but there you go. It just kind of came to a halt. Over in other merchandise, XM Studios, who make incredible statues, have got a new incredible statue to show off. Their 1/4 scale Spider-Man transformation statue. Oh my goodness. I'm showing you the pictures now just so you can take a look at it. 1/4 scale. This is big. Okay, I don't even know if I'm holding my hands in the right position, but it's big. Do you want to know what the price is? Yeah, of course you do. £2,000 or dollars. I'm not sure what it would convert to, but 2,000. It's not 2,000 yen, that's for damn sure. It's a lot of money, but you can see where that money goes. This is like handcrafted, hand painted. One of those things that I'll never own, but dang, I like to look at. Because the symbiote coming away from Spider-Man is such an iconic image. To have that sculpted and put together in a statue like that, it just looks so great. Not really matching up with any specific comic or movie though, because of course it's the bell in the bell tower when Spidey does get rid of the symbiote, but of course in the comics he's wearing his tidy-whities. He's not wearing his Spider-Man costume underneath, but you know what? I'll let it go because it looks like an incredible statue. So I was speaking earlier about generous people who watch the channel. Yeah. Don't get me the four-legged centaur lady. But if anyone wants to buy me a £2,000 Spider-Man symbiote statue, yeah, hit me up. Gang, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Cup of coffee. Big time